totally. So you talk a lot about being a challenger, and one of the questions is, have you always been that way? Did you make a conscious decision to like learn to become comfortable with challenging? Can you tell us a wee bit about that?
Yeah, so I've always been a little bit of a shit disturber. So I've always done that. I've always stood up for myself, and I've probably learned to do it in a slightly more diplomatic way, but I think that I have always been really focused on standing up for myself, because oftentimes you are the only one who will stand up. And I've been trying for a long time to teach myself that if I teach myself how to be self-compassionate, right, to myself, so self-kindness instead of self-judgment, then I will know that there's always one person who's got my back. That there's always one person who will be there when everybody else is rolling their eyes and giving me passive-aggressive comments and not supporting my ideas. I know that I can reach down at any point when I'm having a crappy day, when I didn't get the client I wanted, when something didn't work out. I can rely on myself to have my back. And so that's been a journey to get there, because oftentimes you rely on other people and they disappoint you, or they become a hater. And so I try not to hate on myself when there's so much of that in the world. And so I try to always, do that for myself.
Well, it's that thing of, we have so many barriers, passive aggressive remarks, prejudice, like all this shit to wade through all the time. Why on earth would you make yourself another one of those things that you have to fight with?
Exactly.
But of course, it's also realizing that growing up as a woman means that you have been socially conditioned to hate on yourself and socially conditioned to give yourself a hard time when you imagine standing taller, or you imagine speaking back or asking the question or whatever it might be. So I think it's also really helpful to know where that comes from and not give yourself a hard time about that either.
And I think that that's intimately linked to how we handle praise and compliments, but also how we handle our own successes. And that's tied to something that called humbleness, right? And I loathe the word humble. I can't stand it. I think it does us a disservice. The definition of humble is having or showing a low estimate of one's own worth. And yet, from early childhood, through all the different agents of socialization, family, peers, school, religion, culture, all the way up, we have been told and encouraged at every step up, be humble. Be humble. Don't talk about yourself. Play small. Get along. Just smile. And when we are not humble, we are automatically assumed to be narcissistic, to be cocky, to be bitchy. And that does us a disservice, because what happens is you get to become an adult, and then when the good happens and the positive happens in your life, you can't even internalize it, because to you it's just, I'm just doing my job. I was just doing what I was supposed to do. Keep your head down, keep working, just keep going for the next one, the next one, the next one. So there's no internalization of that. And I am really, really big on pushing back against that idea that we can't talk about the good within. And so one of the questions in my study is, what do you do to acknowledge your accomplishments and all your progress along the way? And usually there's a big pause at the end of the phone, and women say, well, I don't know. I mean, I'm just doing my job. And so I guess I think about it for a few seconds or minutes, and then I move on. Okay, well then compare that to the amount of time you spend thinking about the mistake that you made, and all the times you failed and messed up. Oh, they think about that, they ruminate, they dwell, they can't sleep, they tell everybody they know. Well, there's a discrepancy, right? So I think it's really important that when the good happens, all those little baby steps along the way, we have to acknowledge it. We have to talk about it. We have to journal it. We have to appreciate it and celebrate that. We have to celebrate all of that and catalog the achievements rather than the mistakes. Otherwise, you wake up one day and there is no joy left, right? Because you're just busy filling up everybody else's cup.
Yeah. And it's something that, I encourage all the women that I work with. We do weekly wins. We do love bombs, appreciation conversations. And it is amazing how uncomfortable it is at first for many people. Like, it's actually very, very uncomfortable, and they have to really sit with the discomfort, and in a matter of days it can be quite transformative. But I think it's really powerful to shift from, let's keep looking for the things that are going well and the things that we can celebrate. So Maya, tell us, we've got a couple of minutes left, like what's next for you? So I know you're doing a new study, which I think people can get involved with. Is that still the case?
Yeah, so I'm doing a study. I'm in the second year of the study. If anybody would like to participate, they can reach out to me through social media, contact me, send me a DM. So the study is, I talk to women all over the world about confidence, apologies, how they handle praise and compliments, and then their mindsets around success and failure. It takes a few phone calls or Zooms or Skypes or whatever to complete. And so right now I've spoken to 165 women across 15 countries. It's most likely going to be a 3 to 5 year study. So that takes over my life. So that's what I do every day, all day. And then I teach, and then I do my writings and my webinars. So yes, if anybody would like to participate, I'm always looking for new participants. Yeah, that's what I'm working on.
Amazing. Well, I think Jill and Eddie who are here have been in touch and are going through that process, and I'm sure you'll get a ton of people after this who want to reach out. And yeah, just thank you from me and the other women in the Upfront Bonds who I know have been just really positively impacted by your work. Like, keep going.
Oh, thank you.
Shout us if we can help.
Thank you. Yeah, so, thank you for inviting me. Thank you for highlighting my TEDx. I really appreciate that. And for anybody listening, I would just encourage everybody to get off the apology train. It can happen. And to honestly start saying thank you when you are praised or complimented on anything. Resist the urge to deflect or use self-deprecating humor. Resist the urge to minimize the accomplishment or to always thank the team and leave yourself out. And also, I would encourage us all to interrupt and have these uncomfortable conversations around confidence. And when another woman presents as confident, oftentimes she is perceived as cocky, right? And so I'll just say a quick story. So in my study, I ask, when another woman says thank you and she owns it, she owns this compliment, how do you perceive her? And the number one response is, I love it. Oh my gosh, she's amazing. I want to get to know her. You go, girl. But then the second most common response is, it's a little cocky. It's a little much. And so I would encourage all of us to sort of do some internal reflection around what are those uncomfortable feelings within ourselves when another woman presents as confident and we immediately think, that's a bit much. And so to interrupt that bias, both within ourselves and from other women when we hear it.
Yeah. And, for me personally, that's just so important because I had that all the way through school. And it's probably the past 3-4 years that I've got, that I'm on the same page as you with that now, and I understand why that happens, and I know that I'm not cocky. I'm actually just good at my job, and I communicate very clearly, and that makes other women uncomfortable, and it's hard. So I'm really grateful that you are, encouraging that conversation to happen in a way that is very non-combative and in a way that is about we can all win. Like, there is enough space for all of us to take that stance, because I think a lot of women women get stuck in a kind of scarcity mindset where, well, if I take up too much space, I'm taking space away from another woman who deserves it more than me, and that can be quite problematic.
Yes, absolutely. And I think I just forgot my thought. I was just gonna follow up. What was I gonna say? I don't know.
Well, thank you so much for being here, and just keep going. We'll all be following along through the interwebs, cheering you on, saying thank you as we go. So
Awesome.
thank you.
All right, thanks so much, Lauren.
All right, bye.
Okay, bye.